Have you ever deeply thought about what the world must have been like in an age when there was no way to measure time at all? There was no calendar, no clock, no dates, no trace of them anywhere. How did people decide which day to sow seeds in the fields and when to harvest the crops? Imagine a time on this earth when words like date, year, and month did not even exist. And yet, some people knew which day was auspicious and which day carried signs of misfortune. Have you ever asked why there are exactly 365 days in a year? Why were only 12 months created? This is not as simple a question as it seems, because its answer is buried deep within the layers of our ancient history and science. On this mysterious journey, we will reverse time and go very far back to an age when time was not seen but felt. This is not just the story of time, it is also the mystery of human thought, imagination, and existence itself. But be careful, what you are about to learn may shake all the beliefs you have held about time until today. Just imagine waking up in a world where there is no date, number Monday or Tuesday, no new year, no clock, and no calendar. What would your life be like? When would you plan your journeys? On which day would you celebrate birthdays or festivals? Or perhaps you wouldn't even know what day it is today. But if you look at the people around you, you would find that even without calendars and clocks, they were living their lives completely. Fields were being sown, festivals were being celebrated, dates for wars were being decided, plans for the future were being made. Now the big question is, when no date like the 1st of January '01 even existed, how did humans understand time? They had no digital clocks and no calendars, yet they still knew which day a festival should be celebrated. Is it possible that they truly communicated with the stars? Or did they possess some mysterious knowledge that we have lost in today's age? Have you ever felt that the ticking of a clock is actually an invisible bond on your soul? We think that we control time, but isn't the truth that time actually controls us? We believe that time began on some 1st of January, but that was merely the moment when humans tried to bind time within limits. In reality, time was breathing long before that. We just did not understand its language. Thousands of years ago, when humans looked up at the sky, they noticed changes. The shape of the moon changing at night, the sun traveling from east to west during the day, the stars shifting their positions night after night. These changes were their first experience of time. They understood that time could be felt, but it was impossible to hold on to it. In the desire to make this impossible thing possible, they discovered the first method, humanity's first time machine. Now don't think it was a metal clock or a mechanical device. They were simply stones. This may surprise you. How can stones measure time? But it is true. Ancient civilizations erected massive stones, not placed randomly, but arranged according to the shadows of the sun. Every day the sun rose at a different angle, and its shadow kept changing on the stones. But on a specific day of the year, the sun's rays fell exactly on the point where those massive stones stood. Was this merely a coincidence, or the key to some unseen mystery? Britain's Stonehenge is the greatest example of this mystery. This extraordinary circle of gigantic stones standing in an open field still amazes the world today. These stones were not placed haphazardly. Their positions were determined based on extremely precise calculations. Every year on June 21st, the first rays of the sun pass through these stones, and on December 21st, that same sun sets at the exact same point. Is this merely nature's play, or is there a hidden secret behind it that can take us to the true definition of time? This was their unique way of understanding seasons and time. No clock, no calendar, just the mysterious language of the sun and stones. A study conducted in 2022 revealed that the massive stones standing at Stonehenge may have represented all 365 days of the year, just like today's calendar. It feels as if each stone was a guardian of a day or a week, silently recording time. So the next time you see a picture of Stonehenge, do not think of it as just a stone structure. It was an ancient scientific marvel and extraordinary calendar that trapped time within stones. But did you know that India also has many such sites where the mathematics of the sun was used thousands of years ago? Our temples were not just places of worship. They were the most accurate centers for measuring time. Now ask yourself, Was Orissa's Konark Sun Temple built only for religious rituals, or was it also an ancient time machine capable of counting seasons and years? Standing just a short distance from the ocean waves, this unique temple is known as the Chariot of the Sun God. Its architecture is so precise that on 2 special days of the year, the sun's rays enter directly into its sanctum, as if light were being controlled inside a scientific laboratory. This stone chariot of the sun god has 12 massive wheels, 7 horses, and a mystery that has fascinated the world for centuries. Each wheel represents the 12 months of the year, and the 8 spokes of each wheel mark the 8 divisions of the day. You will be amazed to know that just as we count time today in hours, minutes, and seconds, ancient India measured time in prayer. The shadows cast by the sun on these stones indicated which part of the day was passing. Imagine when the idea of making a clock had not even been conceived. Our ancestors were measuring time with stones and sunlight. This was not just art. It was extraordinary science-time engineering born on our own land. Now imagine that you are part of a tribe 5,000 years ago. You are told that the moment the sun's shadow touches the 3rd stone, a new season will begin. No clock, no mobile. Just a shadow, upon which the future of an entire civilization depends. The question arises, did stones truly speak the language of time back then? And if so, is that language still alive today? Or have we become so dependent on machines that we have lost that knowledge forever? When ancient humans first looked up at the sky, they noticed another thing that changed every day: the moon. Every night, the moon appeared in a different form, sometimes a thin crescent, sometimes a bright full circle, and then gradually disappearing. This was not just beauty. It was the earliest signal of time. Thousands of years ago, when there were no dates and no clocks, humans turned the moon into a tool for measuring time. From new moon to full moon and back, again a 29-day cycle. This became the world's first calendar, which we now call the lunar calendar. In India's Panchang system, concepts like Tithi and Paksha are connected to the movement of the moon. This calendar was not just a way to count time. It became the heartbeat of social, religious, and agricultural life. Festivals, fasts, marriages, everything was decided according to the position of the moon. But along with the moon, another cosmic force was measuring time: the sun. One solar cycle lasts about 365 days, stable and precise. That is why Egyptian and Roman civilizations adopted solar-based calendars. Now think about this. On one side was the moon completing its cycle in 29 days, and on the other side was the sun taking 365 days to complete the cycle of seasons. So which calendar was more natural? India found an extraordinary solution to this dilemma. They created a balanced calendar by combining both lunar and solar systems, known as the lunar-solar calendar. In this system, an extra month is added every 32.5 months, called adikmas, to keep the lunar year and solar year in balance. Ancient scholars used deep astronomical calculations to understand all this. Today, global trade and technology may require a solar-based calendar, but our soul still leans toward the moon. That is why festivals like Holi and Diwali are still celebrated according to lunar dates. When Western civilizations were struggling with years, months, and dates, Indian sages were measuring time in vast cycles of ages. They knew that time was not a straight line, but a rotating cycle. To understand this cycle, they created Vedanga Jyotish. This was not merely astrology. It was a profound scientific explanation of time. It combined Earth's motion, the sun's position, the moon's phases, and the movement of planets into an incredibly complex yet highly accurate system, many of whose calculations were later proven correct by modern science. Ancient Indian sages did not see time as just moments. They understood it as a flow of energy. Today, when we look at a clock, we see only numbers. But when they looked at the sky, they saw a vast cycle reflecting the rhythm of life, death, and rebirth. Today, we celebrate the beginning of every year on January 1st with fireworks, believing that a new cycle has begun. But have you ever wondered where this date came from? In reality, in 46 BCE, to 46 years before the year we call January 1st, Nero 1 Julius Caesar realized that the Roman calendar had become completely disorganized. Farming seasons were disrupted, and religious events were scattered. To solve this problem, he introduced a new calendar, the Julian calendar. This calendar had 365 days, and every fourth year an extra day was added to February, creating a leap year. But even this was not perfect. The most interesting fact is that a year called Year Zero never actually existed. The calendar count began directly from 01 AD, and January 1st was declared the start of the new year, said to be the birth year of Jesus Christ, although historical evidence suggests that his birth likely occurred 46 years before the start of this calendar. So was this merely a religious belief that became the world's universal calendar? For centuries, the Julian calendar remained in use. But after 1,500 years, it had accumulated a difference of 10 days. To correct this, Pope Gregory XIII made a bold decision. In October 1582, he removed 10 days from history. After October 4th came directly October 15th. Since then, we have been following the Gregorian calendar. Yet questions still remain. Why are there exactly 12 months in a year? Why does a month have about 30 days? And why does February get 29 days every 4 years? As we now understand, our ancestors created calendars by observing the movements of the moon and the sun. So the answer lies in the motion of these celestial bodies, the moon, the sun, and the earth. Let us rise above the earth and move into space to understand this mystery. When you look at Earth from space, you can clearly see that it is constantly rotating on its axis. Every 24 hours, Earth completes one full rotation, what we call a day. Meanwhile, the moon is orbiting the Earth. By the time the moon completes one full orbit around Earth, Earth has rotated on its axis about 29 times. These 29 days together form a month, which is approximately 30 days long. Just as the moon orbits Earth, Earth orbits the sun. And by the time Earth completes one full revolution around the sun, it has rotated on its axis 365 times, while the moon has orbited Earth about 12 times. This is why a year has 12 months and 365 days. But there is an interesting twist. Earth does not take exactly 365 days to orbit the sun. It takes about 1/4 of a day more. Over 4 years, this extra time adds up to one full day. To balance this in the calendar, a leap year is added every 4 years, making February 29 days long. You should also note that the Hindu Panchang, which is still deeply connected to our traditions, is based on the moon's movement. The moon completes one full cycle in 29 days, and 12 such cycles make a year of about 354 days. But the solar year is about 365.25 days long. To balance the two, an extra month is added to the Panchang every 2.5 to 3 years, called adhikmas. This is similar to a leap year, except that instead of adding one day, an entire month is added today. With modern technology, we can calculate these astronomical events with great accuracy. But imagine now, ancestors understood all of this thousands of years ago without any machines. This shows how deep and extraordinary their astronomy was. Time, which once was the heartbeat of the universe for sages, has now been reduced to a few numbers written on paper. We have bound it so tightly that we forgot that time flows more within us than outside us. So the next time you look at a clock or celebrate New Year on January 1st, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, are you truly feeling time or merely following rules made by others? Because the truth is, time never began and it may never end. Its true language is still hidden in the stars, in the movement of the moon, in the warmth of the sun, and in your heartbeat. January 1st, year 01, was just a date. But time is far more ancient and infinite. In India, the Panchang was developed thousands of years before the Julian calendar ever existed, and astonishingly, it is still just as accurate today as it was thousands of years ago. The flow of time did not begin on January 1st, year 01. Nor did it ever stop. It was flowing then, and it is flowing even now. The only question is, can you hear its heartbeat? Or have you lost yourself trying to control time? Perhaps the real question is this: are you also just waiting for your right time? If this journey touched you deeply, please give this video a heartfelt like. And if you want to reopen the forgotten pages of history like this, do subscribe. *.